Hey y'all, I'm going to be decorating the cover of my fairy quotes journal. And I have chosen some variegated, I think this is velour. It's a variegated fiber that I found somewhere. I don't remember where I got this from. But I thought it'd be really cute to wrap around this journal as a closure. And I have some vintage ribbon that I chose. And you can see how long this is. This is old. This is probably 1970s or 80s. I would think it's more like an outdoor floral type ribbon like you would use for wreath decorating. So this is the ribbon that I've chose to put along the spine. Okay, so I just cut a length of ribbon a little bit longer than the spine. And I'm going to go along the edge, very close to the center of the spine. I'm using Eileen's tacky glue. And I find this works just fine if you spread it out and let it get a little bit sticky before you put your ribbon down. The glue won't seep through. If you leave it very puffy and very wet before you put your ribbon on, the glue will potentially seep through. So I'll just work with this in stages and glue a little bit at a time. Try to make sure it's straight. And then give it a good press. Okay, now I am going to trim the edges off of that ribbon, but I'm going to let it sit and dry a little bit first before I do that. In the meantime, I'm going to start working on the images for the cover. Now I have chosen a quote from Adamo prints. It says, "Nothing can be truer than fairy wisdom." And I've also chosen an image from Tailor-Made Journals. And I have this piece of a leftover shopping bag from another project. It's a paper shopping bag. And I think I'm going to use that to frame this image. So I'm going to cut the white edges off around the image and then start working to make the frame. Decide to cut the handle off of the bag to get it out of the way, and then start trimming that piece down to fit on the cover. And then I'll just keep working with it until I'm happy with it. I grabbed a piece of this bright pink tissue paper and decided that would go really well, pulling some of the flower colors out of the image. And then I got out my set of stamps from Tailor-Made Journals that I purchased through scrapbook.com. You can see those products on a previous video that I posted. So now I'm deciding how am I going to use this tissue paper. I was afraid if I stamped directly on it that the paper would wrinkle, so I decided to get some scrap cardstock out of my bin and back that tissue paper onto this white cardstock. Now you can see I spread that glue out thin, let it get a little bit tacky so that that tissue paper stayed smoother. And then I just cut around that. I grabbed my StazOn ink in jet black. And when you purchase new stamps, a lot of times you have to do what's called priming, where you ink them and stamp with them a couple of times before the image stamps dark or very clear. And you can see here where I get kind of a ghost image at first. And then as I use the stamp, the image gets darker. And then I'll just stamp off the excess ink. Okay, and up on the right side of the video, you can see I cut the word journal out and cut it down. And I'm going to go ahead and clip this ribbon as well, and decided to flip my journal over and clip it from the inside so that I didn't accidentally cut into the cover. Then I decided I wanted to add an eyelet to run my closure through. So on the front cover, I'm going to add an eyelet, and this is how I measure center. I just use a piece of scrap, fold it in half, and there's my center line, so I don't have to do a bunch of addition or subtraction or division to try to figure out where the center of my journal is. And I'm going to slide that card out of that pocket so I don't poke a hole in that. And then I pause the video to go find an eyelet and come back and work on the journal and forget to press the record button. So we will skip way ahead. And here's my finished cover. And I will explain. So I added an eyelet in gold. I took another piece of that tissue paper on the cardstock. Here's the journal word that I used. And I framed that quote from Adamo's prints. And then I layered these pieces, glued them all onto the cover, threaded my closure through, and my journal cover is finished. So thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for not being able to share the full process, but this is how the journal looks right now.